Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everyone. It's Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And we are coming to you, a couple weeks later.
It's all right. It's the holidays.
It is the holidays, and I have been under the weather, like bad. This has been like the worst couple weeks. It started right when the movie came out.
Oh, really? I didn't know
yes.
that long. Huh?
Well, because I remember I stayed home with my daughter Eliza because she wasn't feeling too good on the 16th.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay, I've got to get better because I got to make it to the
right.
to the showing, which I did. We did the showing at 8:00 on Thursday evening on the 17th. I went again and saw it that Friday afternoon. The next day.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, you went that day too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it the Tuesday before Christmas.
Yeah.
Which was a little over a week ago, obviously. When did you see it again?
That was last time I was with you at Movie
Oh,
Tavern.
that's right. Yeah, we saw it together. That's right. So 3 times.
Yep.
Feel like we've got a good handle on, a lot everything that's kind of in the movie.
I think so.
To give a relatively detailed review of it, and we're going to really, really break this thing down. Definitely want to mention a lot of stuff that we've gathered. Also, if you guys haven't gotten this book yet, you need to. It's the visual dictionary for The Force Awakens. And you can't get any more canon than this being written by Pablo Hidalgo. Right. But you got to get it because there's a lot of interesting things in here. It reveals a lot. It doesn't reveal everything, but it reveals a lot. I think there's a lot of questions out there that a lot of people had, especially we had going out of the movie, even after a couple screenings.
Right.
Because, for one, there are a lot of questions still that are left for the movies, obviously, left for the trilogy.
Right.
But I feel like there's a lot of questions that can easily be answered through these kind of books.
Right.
And there's a book out there that I bought for you, Casey, also from Greg Rucka called Before the Awakening, and it's about stories with Finn and Rey and Poe, and you got to get that as well. I think that's really good in telling a little bit of backstory. These stories here lead up to the movie. The one about Finn is really, really good because it really explains his transformation.
Yeah.
And why he's so defective of, the First Order. But anyway, we're going to get all that and more. First off, before we kind of break it down, I know it's hard to kind of do it after we said it, but let's just do quickly, Case.
Yep.
What was your first impression at first screening when you came out of that movie?
My first impression, I was completely satisfied. And I was just like I was just. I mean, we're obviously not gonna hold any bars with spoilers in this one, but in this review, this is
spoilers.
So if you haven't seen it, stop listening to it. But just leaving it, I was just so emotionally wrecked in a good way. Not like it was it was a roller coaster. Obviously, it was there was a lot of crazy stuff happening, but just so I was just had such a weight on my heart from the film because I had tickets for the next showing after what we originally saw it, and I was like, I can't see it. I got a refund for it, and I was like, I can't watch it. It's too, it was just too much to handle.
It was
through the loss of Han Solo. That was crazy enough. It was a lot for me to handle. So I just had to mellow on it. So I loved it, absolutely loved it, every part of it. Much like with so a lot of these big movies like Man of Steel, like I just left the movie thinking like, oh, it's awesome, it's perfect, this is a great movie, awesome movie. But it's been holding up though. Actually, my opinion hasn't faltered at all on the film.
Yeah, I don't. My opinion. It's weird. Here's the weird thing: is that I like you came out of it like, wow, that's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go see it several times. Yeah. I think ultimately it'll probably be around 5 or 6 times is probably when I'll see it. Mm-hmm. When I'll see it in the theater, depending on how long it lasts. It's killing the box. I mean,
I got some records.
It just moved into number 2, I think.
Yeah, of all time, domestic number 2.
Yeah, so it's it passed Titanic, I think today.
Yeah,
it's really close to passing Avatar, maybe next weekend.
Yeah,
and it still hasn't opened in China yet.
It opens next week in China.
So you're going to add just another maybe $1 billion or something like that. So, but what's weird is that my opinion on the movie after 3 screenings has not changed. Although I will say that there are several things that have come up, which I'll get into, that has made me kind of wish was different.
Okay.
Not that it affected me that it wasn't different, but there's, and I've read several reviews. I've read, I've heard a lot of comments from, friends of ours and listeners of ours, and some of them I agree with that have gripes up at the movie, and some of them I don't, but
right.
So I've come to understand some of those opinions and kind of been like, yeah, you know what, that I'm kind of leaning that way, but it still hasn't really changed
right
what I think about it. You know what I mean? It's different. I guess it's kind of similar to the prequels almost. A lot of people have dislike for the prequels and stuff like that, and I understand a lot of those, but it still doesn't really change how I feel about it. And even though I may agree with some of those things, but so anyway, let's just get into really kind of start diving in from the beginning and kind of move on as we go through. But so anyway, so excited, and dang it, I'm gonna bring it up. Or can you bring up the crawl real fast?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about the crawl for sure.
Yeah.
Because the staple of every movie, I remember episode 1 going into it thinking like, I can't wait to read the crawl. Even though the crazy thing is that, I don't know if you remember this, but Lucasfilm released the crawl before every movie.
Right.
So I knew what the movie, and I had read the crawl for episode 1 already, but I remember just seeing it in the theater and reading it. It's like something else. And this one, nobody knew.
Also, just every word I was trying to read very carefully.
There were fake ones out there that people were like trying to guess it, but you're like, no way. So anyway, so read the crawl.
Yeah, okay. First of all, it says episode 7 in the crawl.
Correct.
Force Awakens. Luke Skywalker has vanished. Like every first sentence, it's so like, oh.
And that's the second time it started out with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think Return started with, Luke has returned to his home planet of Tatooine.
So Luke Skywalker has vanished. In his absence, the sinister First Order has risen from the ashes of the Empire and will not rest until Skywalker, the Last Jedi, has been destroyed. With the support of the Republic, General Leia Organa leads a brave resistance. She is desperate to find her brother Luke and gain his help in restoring peace and justice to the galaxy. Leia has sent her most daring pilot on a secret mission to Jakku, where an old ally has discovered a clue to Luke's whereabouts.
Okay, so after reading that for the first time, there's several things that. Okay, so it's been 30 years, and you're trying to catch up, and you're trying to figure out, beyond the stuff that you've read maybe in the whole Journey of the Force Awakens stuff, books and comics, there's still no explanation really of what happened in those 30 years.
Right.
You have you know from Aftermath a little bit that a new republic has been established.
Yeah.
You know that Mon Mothma took over. Not took over, but she became the chancellor.
Right.
You don't know until this movie, until Han explains that what really Luke has done.
Right.
So Luke started a training Jedi.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe some younglings, maybe some older people. I don't, we don't know that for sure yet.
Right.
It's always dangerous to train older people, right? As evident with Anakin and even Luke. He's too old, So who knows yet who he grabbed? Who were the first class, right?
Right.
First class. So that's a big question mark still. That's not answered yet. All we know is Luke's gone. We don't know how long.
Yeah.
We can start
Good
piecing
idea.
things together
Yeah.
after you find out that Kylo Ren was Ben Solo's
And
responsible.
And how old Rey is,
Right.
I think, if you're assuming some theories out there.
Well, no, it's in here how old she is.
How old she's, if she's Luke's daughter, then you kind of get an idea of how long Luke has been gone.
Correct.
That's how old she
And
is.
how old Kylo is pretty much at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he could be close to 30.
I think he has to be. I think
Yeah.
he's
Maybe
I
29,
think he's
28.
born shortly after, maybe a year or so after the Battle of Endor. So you got to assume that he's at least 29,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's probably not 30, but he's probably 29,
Yeah.
28. Meaning that somewhere around, if you go by Rey's age, which she is 19,
Right.
well, that means what? He's 11 when he turns? He's got to be, right?
I mean, no, he didn't turn right when she was born.
Well, that's true. So maybe he's
young teen, 13,
14
14.
then, 14, 15.
yeah.
Because she's probably, yeah, you're right. She's probably
14.
4, 5
Yeah.
when she's left.
Yeah.
So that's right. So he's gone about 15 years then, right?
Yeah.
15, 14.
About 14 years?
14 years
Yeah.
is what was kind of
Right on
guessed.
there. Yeah.
So all that, again, all that is pieced from this book, the dictionary, and basically what Han has said in the movie.
Right.
That's how that's kind of pieced, because it says in here that Rey is 19 years old, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, we'll get to that more, but in the crawl, you're still left with so much. I just feel like with all the other crawls, I feel like I'm caught up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I read episode 3, and yes, we missed the entire Clone Wars,
Right.
but I felt like there was nothing in there. Like, what's the mystery? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no mystery. Here, there's so much mystery. And I don't even know if someone had never seen Star Wars, any movie, and they do watch 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then there's a 19-year gap, right, to episode 4. I don't even think you still have that sense of like, what did I just miss in 19 years? You know what I mean?
Right. No, you don't.
You don't, right? Because Luke and Leia are. I mean, Leia. I guess there's a lot you can probably find out about her, which we might, maybe in Rebels and some books and stuff like that. But you assume Obi-Wan hasn't really done much,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Yoda's in exile, and Luke is just growing up on Tatooine. So, and the Empire just ruling the galaxy. You know what I mean? So this is so different because there's not an Empire. So when you read that crawl, you're like, how did the First Order? How did the First Order even come about? Now it does say in there, yes, because Luke was gone, it rose, but it had to have started rising. I mean, really shortly after the Empire.
Yeah. You get some more stuff in
here.
the book about how the Empire was still around. They just dwindled away. The Republic grew, the New Republic grew, and then there was some peace treaty that they signed, some truce they signed or diminished
With the Empire.
Yeah, with the Empire. So like the Empire stuck around, but they're power was diminished. They weren't allowed to like build big ships, but allowed to do any military kind of ventures. And so they split off and kind of went to the unknown regions and became the First Order. But yeah, man, that's all we get. Of First Order of the history.
But does it? Have you? I haven't read all of it in here, but does General Hux seems young?
Yeah, he does. I mean,
there's no way he was probably born. Maybe he was shortly a kid around the Battle of Endor.
He's not Tarkin's kid,
correct? And he's not. Maybe he was military. Someone.
Well, it says in there his parents were
Empire?
Imperials.
Okay,
and military.
That makes sense.
Imperials, so yeah,
just like Poe's parents were rebellion.
Yeah.
And you get that in Shattered Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit of, when you first see the movie and you read this, you're just like, okay, this sets up what I'm about to see,
right?
But it doesn't explain anything that has happened. It doesn't say in there like Luke started an order and then he went into hiding. He just says he vanished.
Yeah.
And it seems like only some of the people in the Resistance really know why.
It's a good old mystery box.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And it opens the door so much for, books and novels and comics that are, maybe even a television show that's going to happen during that time. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so so after you read the crawl, great crawl, obviously, we pan down and a lot of the stuff that we had talked about kind of in the pre-show we did the Wednesday before was the order of the movie, which is which everybody knew kind of. We're going to see Jakku first. Mm-hmm. And you even said, I listened back on our show, you even said it, you said, I think we're going to start off with this invasion of the First Order on Jakku, which was exact. And if you think about it, well, I'll get to that later, so it's funny because I wanted to mention this. And I don't think I mentioned this to you. A lot of people are saying that the first line of the movie is a dig at George Lucas.
Is it a Lore Santeca line?
Yes.
Let's look in the script. This will begin to make things right. I've traveled too far and seen too much.
The very first line.
Yeah, this will begin to make things right.
This will begin to make things right.
Maybe.
A lot of people are on I've read a lot of forums and a lot of people are saying like, if that's not a dig at Lucas, I don't know what else could be.
Yeah.
Like this movie is what's going to begin to make things right. So I don't know.
Interesting, in the script here, it even says Poe Dameron is 32.
Oh.
I'm going to look through some other characters and see if we can figure out their ages.
Yes. That'd be good. So anyway, the big mystery now of Lore Van Secca.
Or Santeca.
Lore Santeca, yeah, sorry.
Tongue twister.
Lore Santeca, which right here. Now, Max von Sydow has been absent in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So I do believe, now here's the thing. I don't even know where it came from, but there has always been that kind of rumor that his character is somehow possibly linked to Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
What?
23.
Who?
Finn.
Finn is 23.
It says,
nice.
Yep, 23.
Okay, perfect. That's good because that's the only thing that's not in this dictionary.
Yeah.
Which I guess we can assume that script is canon, but
yeah, it's gotta be. Come on, man.
Is it in the novelization? I don't know if it's
it might be.
Maybe.
Sorry.
So, okay, so Lore Santeca is how you can describe him. He's basically the leader of this group that are Force followers.
He's
the Church of Force followers.
Church of the Force, which I don't even know if is still around technically at this point. I'm not sure.
Well, it's just those people. Yeah, I think they're
like
formally of a group that basically worship the Force almost in a sense, and were Jedi supporters. Through all the times that they were, I guess the dark times, because he talks about mentioning obviously knowing Leia, and he obviously I think knows who she is. Now the question is, so now let me ask you this, because I think we even leaned over to each other in the theater and mentioned it. But there was that one moment when, so these stormtroopers come in, start blasting everybody.
Yeah.
You already start getting the sense of what's happening to Finn. He sees the trooper. Now the trooper that gets shot. I'll just throw this out real fast. In the book Before the Awakening, he's training with 3 other stormtroopers, and their nicknames are Nines, Zeros, and Slip. And Slip, FN 2003, is the guy that gets shot and puts his bloody hand on Finn's face. Right. So that's his buddy. So he does know him. And in fact, Slip was there were so many times as you read the book he's like getting just blasted by Phasma as like a weak trooper. You need to, because in simulations, Finn's always going back for him and helping him. And Phasma's like, you can't. He's gonna bring you down eventually. Yeah. So he was never that good. Yeah, and that comes to say he gets blasted. So Finn's been struggling with this for a while. Ever since they put him in the combat. Right. So he's 23, you say, which is good to know. And you find out basically that they've been, like he says later, they've been trained at birth to be stormtroopers, basically, or be part of the First Order. So he doesn't know anything else. Anyway, so they invade this little community here. Now, when Kylo Ren shows up, there's that moment, and you got to tell. I remember, I think we looked at each other. There's that moment when him and
Lord
Santeca are talking. It's like,
it's almost like they're.
Wait a minute, is that Ezra and Kanan?
Yeah, it almost seems.
I was
so ready for it. It's like, oh gosh, it's happening.
Oh my gosh, but and I did not know his name. As I was watching it for the first time.
Right, no, we didn't.
And you don't even hear his name in the movie. No one says his name. He's not in the crawl, nothing. So you're left kind of like, well, is that Kanan or is that, is that Ezra? But anyway, he hands Poe this map or whatever of possible location of Luke Skywalker. How he has it, how he finds it, who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, the crawl makes it seem like he found it recently, but the novel. The visual dictionary there actually makes it sound like he's had it for a while because it says his most valued possession that he's kept. I don't know. I get the idea that he's had it for a while because how could he have just discovered it if he's on Jakku for a long time? Unless Luke gave it to him and was like, "Hey, in case something happens, then come find me." I don't know, but it just. But it seems like because the cross says he just discovered.
Yeah, and part of
something,
and part of, excuse me, part of his duty he feels like is this group is trying to hold on to a lot of the Jedi relics,
right?
So that the people can still remember them because it says in here he remembers these guys prior to the Clone Wars,
right? So
he's never believed, the whole traitor thing and everything like that. He believes in the Jedi. So this happens. Now, what was great about, I think, this first part of the movie is you really do see the power of Kylo Ren.
Oh my gosh, it's very stunning. His power, it shocks you, honestly.
When he stops that bolt.
Yeah. And the way he stops Poe as well.
Correct.
This looks it's insane. Yeah, stopping the bolt is...
And holding the bolt there the entire time.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Now, in your review of Kylo Ren, just what do you think of his look and his sound and all that stuff?
I think he's definitely a good presence. We got a lot of visuals of him before the film, so it wasn't like it was shocking to see what he looks like or anything like that. But I think just the voice, the way he moves, it kind of just stomps when he walks, and I just love the mannerisms of Adam Driver, how he makes Kylo Ren. He just kind of sprawls. He just kind of moves almost like a spider in a way. I don't know, but I thought it was really good. I mean, after seeing the whole film, we'll talk about that maybe, I guess. But just the first images of him in the film, I thought he was really good. I liked it. I mean, he was pretty threatening, but it wasn't too like over your head. Like this is the craziest villain, because Poe Dameron kind of makes fun of him a bit about how I can't hear you because your voice, and like he's like poking. He's making him less scary at the same time where he's supposed to be scary, since this is the first time we're seeing him. So I thought that was a good touch. Now that they didn't want to take themselves too seriously in a sense, but I still felt that this is an intimidating character, mainly because he stopped a laser bolt in midair. It's like, how in the world can you stop this guy? He like freezes people like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I was impressed. I was definitely I was impressed from his voice ever since the trailer. I do like how they used his voice.
Yeah,
I do, like you said, I like his mannerisms.
Yeah, he doesn't growl. He doesn't do like the Benedict Cumberbatch bad guy kind of voice.
Yeah, it sounds like he's talking normal.
But it's like a very vulnerable yet stressed kind of voice, and it's good. Like I liked Adam Driver's really good. I haven't seen him do anything else. I haven't watched Girls.
Me neither.
But I love him. He's great.
So very, and the saber, we obviously heard the saber already. Yeah. Now, for you guys, those of you that don't know why it looks the way it does,
right?
It's because the kyber crystal that he is using is cracked.
Yes.
So it's a kind of it's an unorthodox kind of lightsaber, even though it is kind of. And I was looking up, I forgot to look at if it was actually canon about the whole red crystals.
Because, being artificial.
Because, it was always artificial. Anyway, I was going to look that up, but it just says, actually it's in canon right here. It says Kylo Ren's lightsaber used a cracked kyber crystal which generated more power. The access power was vented out the sides, thus creating the crossguard design he is known for. So it's because it's cracked, it actually does that. If it wasn't cracked,
right,
it would just be a normal lightsaber. But this canon information here doesn't really talk about the colors, so it's possible that the red kyber crystal is actually not artificial.
Right.
Yeah, actually it says, I didn't even know about this. So it says the Force guided their selection, finding a crystal that matched them as Jedi. Crystals lacked color before they were chosen by a Jedi. Once chosen, most lightsabers became blue or green, though other shades were created in rare instances, most notably Mace Windu's purple blade, the yellow blades of the Jedi Temple Guards, and the black Darksaber. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, the Sith had distinctive red blades. So, I don't know, it almost sounds like colors come on later. So I don't know. There's a lot of history still to talk about that. But anyway, so that's what his saber's doing. Which I like that explanation, to be honest. I mean,
yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense because we were kind of we debated whether or not it was kind of an older saber that maybe he finds, an old Sith saber or something like that, and that's what they looked like in the history. But no, it's cracked saber crystal.
Yeah.
Cyber crystal. Anyway, Kyber. So Poe gets captured. Whatever. BB-8. He sends BB-8.
Yeah.
With the data, into the desert, and not really pointing him in any ways to say, "I'll come back for you."
Yeah.
So he's just kind of wandering the desert. Just so happens he comes across Rey,
right,
who's a scavenger on the planet Jakku. We find out, she basically has to scavenge for food and love Simon Pegg's character.
Yeah. Unker, is that what they say? Unker Plot.
Yeah, so he is the guy that she's trading the parts for food, which I didn't really realize that was Simon Pegg at first.
I was wondering if it was, but I'm not.
For some reason, I thought he was just one of the aliens walking around or something like that. But that was him. Well, later on, you find out that he is actually the owner of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's cool. Somehow he stole
I
it from
thought the
somebody.
introduction of that was perfect.
Yeah. And it makes sense, too. Like, it makes sense that it kept getting stolen and stolen and stolen, trading hands. You know, I just always thought, like, well, Han Solo's going to keep it forever. You know? But,
yeah, and that was one of the aspects of the movie which we never really could figure out.
Yeah.
Is how does he not have it, and
how does he get involved?
Is he in it when they're flying around on Jakku there?
Sure.
You know, it's
I
like
assumed he did. It was.
I
Just
did
like,
too.
It's Han Solo. Of course, it's Han Solo.
Well, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way Ray could be flying it, or maybe Finn because he's a stormtrooper. But you find out in the beginning, he doesn't even know how to fly anything.
Yeah,
he's not a pilot because he needs Poe to escape.
Yeah.
So as this going on with Ray, finding BB-8, discovering. Well, so finding BB-8, but then as that's going on, Finn, of course, is struggling. And he doesn't even have his name, Finn. So FN 2187, he's struggling with whatever he was asked to do, which was slaughter these people, right? Now, what's your opinion? What's your review and your opinion on just his mindset as a stormtrooper and that storyline that they went with?
Well, you know, you get more information of Finn later on in the movie, how he worked sanitation. So, because I thought, like, well, he's been a stormtrooper all his life, but he's just now having feelings of like, oh, because if they're taking a birth, just like the Jedi were, if they're taking a birth and raised, then why isn't he like pre-programmed to like, I don't care about killing people? But you know, from what this prequel book, this prologue book that we get of Finn, it makes more sense. That he's been struggling with this since he kind of grew up, and you know it's actually kind of cool. It's like, you know, you can't program everybody. Like, some people just have that mindset, like this is right and this is wrong, and he does, and that's what he kind of told Poe, was that, you know, it's the right thing to do. You know, to save you, it's the right thing to do. To, you know, to not be with the First Order. I mean, I bought it. I was fine with it. I didn't like take a lot of convincing myself to be like, this is believable, but you know, you know, with a movie like this, with the Abrams movie, you know, you're just gonna get more information later on. You know, he's so good at holding back information. So, you know, although I was questioning, like, well, why is he all of a sudden, you know, hasn't he done this many times? Like, why is he all of a sudden not liking it? Later on, we find out that was his first raid he'd ever done. So he's never been confronted with that, with killing people in person, right? Because in the book, was he ever confronted with like, you have to kill this person or anything like that?
No, he well, in the book, which is pretty cool, he shows him in like several different simulations.
Okay.
In his simulation, he's blasting him.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
He scores very high on the simulations, and he even breaks the rules, I guess, in a sense where, like, he's not supposed to help any other stormtroopers.
Right.
Like, when they get shot, he just keeps going.
Yeah.
But he wants to help.
Yeah.
And like I said, Slip, the guy that gets shot, he's always kind of getting shot in simulations or getting, you know, under fire, under duress, and he goes and helps him.
Right.
But still completes the missions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Phasma is like, this guy's exceptional, you know, at combat. We need to move him up.
Yeah.
Now, this wasn't their first, you know, this so right when they get cleared as stormtroopers, and what they call them fire teams. So there's 4 group fire teams, and Finn is with 09s and Slip. Now she sends them on their first mission, and they have to go to this mining colony, and basically they are taking over this mine. They're told to go in and kind of gather everybody up. Now, as a kind of, again, as a test, she pulls, and I'm spoiling this to everybody, so please, you know, if you don't want to, maybe not listen to the next 5 minutes. But they pull these leaders of this mining colony in there, and Phasma walks in with this fire team of 4 people, Finn and these 3, and she says, she basically says to the lead miner, "Are you willing to accept our terms?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think we have terms." And she turns and says, "Fire." So they all lift their weapons up and kill him. And Finn, again, doesn't shoot. And Slip does because he wants to get, because Phasma keeps saying, Slip, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. So Slip right away is like, kills the guy and then kills Finn's guy, basically. So right there's this question mark of, he's already starting the question mark of what am I doing? Why are we doing this? So before Phasma can really do anything though, they get summoned to Jakku.
Right.
So they immediately board a ship and go to the, what's that Star Destroyer called?
The Finalizer?
The Finalizer. And Finalizer, hyperspaces to Jakku. Hence the beginning of the movie. So, and then they're asked to meet up with Kylo Ren and blah, blah, blah. So that's really his first two missions. I mean, his first mission was going bam, bam, bam. And then, so then Slip gets killed in the beginning there. So he's had this whole time, this whole First Order thing. Now, they're not brainwashed.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're basically raised, yes, to become stormtroopers, but they're not told they are kind of told that I think they're still kind of told that the Jedi are evil. It's funny because he mentions that they're in their training, they're training with these guns and those saber guards, basically, right? Yeah. And it's funny he even mentions in there like we're training against lightsabers. When are we ever going to see a lightsaber? Yeah. So that's what those are meant for, actually, to combat lightsabers. But anyway, so knowing all of that, I like his character a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And John Boyega, I've actually been a big fan of John Boyega's. I've seen him in a couple things. Most notably, I saw him in the latest 24 TV show last year, where he was in about half the season, and he's very, very good. He's just been getting acclaimed by everybody he's worked with.
Definitely also kind of a comic relief of the film. One of the comic reliefs of the movie.
Definitely. He definitely has that personality, which is really good. So I can buy his kind of turn. I can buy his willingness to walk away from that and not kill, just slaughter people. But here's the thing: is that what I think was good about his character was that he didn't just want to join the Resistance. He wanted to just get away from the First Order.
Yeah.
Like he even says, like he says to Maz, he's like, there is no escaping. There's no fighting the First Order. They're going to, because he knows about this weapon, obviously, right? So they don't really know about this weapon yet. But anyway, we'll get to that more. But so, when he's struggling and he's helping Poe, it's like, and that whole sequence of them leaving and escaping was awesome. I felt like Poe giving him his name, Finn.
Yeah.
They're in the TIE fighter. They're just shooting it. They're like screaming. Yeah. It's like, good to meet you, man. Good to meet you.
Like, Poe, Isaacs was really good. He was really, really funny. Really good, likable character. Very good.
Yeah, I think he's, I feel like there's a lot more. I feel like there's beyond, like in the original, in episode 4, when you're introduced to Luke, Leia, and Han, it's like those three have great chemistry, obviously, and energy. I can't really say that much with any of the really characters in the movie. Now with Rey and Finn and Poe, I guess them being kind of the main three, you have that same energy.
Well, until we see Poe and Rey together, which
True.
we haven't. But I definitely, Finn and Poe and Finn and Rey. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I felt like I think in the novel, then I read in the novel, there's a scene together.
There's apparently like an awkward exchange.
Yes, right before they leave to go to the Battle Starkiller base, right? I think.
Well, no, it's when they come back because Rey wasn't on Starkiller.
Oh, that's right.
So that's right. Back, they're like, oh, hey.
That's right.
Hey, what's up?
When the map gets figured. That's right. So anyway, great. So in the beginning, you're introduced to basically the future of the Star Wars movies. I think these three characters are somehow going to be heavily involved in 8 and 9. Okay, so kind of fast forward a little bit, Finn and Poe crash land on Jakku. Finn meets up with Rey and sees BB-8 and the whole explanation of the jacket, because people had questions about how to get his jacket, so you figured that out. So then we discover the Millennium Falcon. They're getting chased. They're running to a ship. It gets blown up. They turn. Let's take the junk ship. And it's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Which you do see in the background before that when they're running.
Yes.
It pans them. You see them in the background. So it's like, oh, why didn't I notice that in the first movie? Oh.
That's true.
Yeah. That's cool.
That whole sequence we've seen in the trailers, but it's awesome to see it. With them, with her flying it, Finn operating the guns. So they obviously blast off there and then get captured. I guess kind of get stopped by a ship.
Yeah,
which is run basically a big smuggler ship run by none other than Han Solo and Chewbacca. So the introduction of them, and this is where we kind of get the explanation of what's going on. And I thought, how did you feel about? So tell me about that whole sequence there, like Xing out the whole pirates and everything. That little quick storyline we get. That was kind of, I don't know really what that was.
It was a lot to pick up. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like
a whole Han Solo short film right there.
Yes, kind of explains what he's been doing. He's been smuggling again for a little while. He's got these 3 big ass, what do you call them? Wrath tarts, yeah. So that whole sequence happens. They get back on the ship or whatever and blast off. But prior to that, does he show them after? Or
does he what?
Does he see did he show them the map after that or before
after that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's after that because Chewbacca gets shot. That's right. And Finn kind of dresses him up. So now this is where you find out that people have heard about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
People know about the rebellion.
People have even heard of Han Solo.
People know about Han Solo.
Millennium Falcon, all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Finn, you got to think, Finn, who has been nothing but a stormtrooper in the First Order, trained, has heard about Han Solo, the rebellion
war hero.
The war hero.
Yeah.
So somehow he's either reading about it or they tell him about it. Yeah. I don't know which it is, but so what do you think about just that whole concept of? I love Rey's reaction, like this is the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
you're Han Solo. Like she knows about them somehow.
Yeah.
Now is that because someone told her when she was like a little kid, or
I feel like she's got most of her information through just traders and off-worlders telling stories.
That's
Jakku.
true.
I think because she's heard of the smuggler side of Han Solo, and Finn's heard of the war hero side.
Right.
So Finn might have heard of it in just history of the Empire, history of the First Order, and they're saying like, and then we were combated, fought against the leaders of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia, and then Rey heard the other side of it. But no, that's cool. I mean, it's cool. I think it makes sense. It was weird to grasp, and when we saw the trailer when Han Solo was saying like all the stories are true, and we're thinking like, well, so. No one really knows who they are. Like all the 30 years, they've all forgotten about basically, A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. They've forgotten all that stuff that happened. But I mean, I think it's fine. I'm fine with it. It kind of allows for new fans to come pick up and kind of run with it, not have to necessarily have to watch all the movies, but although they should, and it helps. But no, I'm fine. I think it's okay that they're all myths and legends. And
yeah, I think, but. I think the only issue, not issue, but the only thing I have about it is, I mean, I get the story part of it, I think, but I feel like that was kind of just information for people watching the movie.
Saying like this is Han Solo from the movies.
Yeah, this is the great Han Solo from the original trilogy. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like that's why that was, because I don't know. I feel like that was kind of one of those just homages.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
To the original trilogy. You know what I mean?
This is the shit that made the cuts on 14
parsecs.
parsecs.
They're bringing that up. Yes. So, because again, does she hear about a lot of that when growing up on Jakku? Who's talking about, because Jakku is so just out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely even settled. It's like, there's hardly
anybody on there, right?
Yeah. It's in the western regions. It's not that far out necessarily. It's just nothing. There's just nothing there.
Well, it's close to the unknown regions too. So it's the great thing about the dictionary, it has this galaxy map in here with only obviously canon worlds.
And I'm sure there's more than they haven't put in there from the Clone Wars TV show, because they went to a lot of worlds.
They did.
So
I don't know, a lot of them are in here, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Like Cato Nemodia, I don't think
because he's Onderon.
Yeah, I saw Morbon's on there.
And Morbon, Mandalore. I think these are all. I'm pretty sure that maybe these are all of them, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Because Ord Mantell is on there.
Like is Felucia on there?
Felucia's right there.
What about Cato Nemodia?
Cato Nemodia is on there somewhere where I saw it. You know what? Maybe it's not. I don't see it. Yeah, there's definitely some that needs to be on.
But
there.
Also,
it's funny. You have Bespin and Hoth like right next to each other.
And they must be like neighboring. And
Tatooine and Geonosis are very next to each other.
Utapau and Dagobah. So Obi-Wan passed Dagobah on his way to Utapau. How did he not?
True.
It's right there.
Very true.
Anyways.
So yeah, that whole history of, and obviously this is where we find out too that Luke went missing ever since one of his students turned against him.
Yeah.
Killed all of the Jedi, basically.
Jeez.
So there are no Jedi. Luke is the last Jedi, as the crawl says, basically.
Mm-hmm. Still the last Jedi.
But you don't know whether or not he hid any younglings or somehow scattered them out. Who knows? We don't know that for sure. You can speculate, on all that, especially Rey's past. So, anyway, we get a quick history lesson on what has happened with Luke. We see the map for the first time. That's one part of the map, necessarily. Anyway, so we move forward a little bit. The big thing I want to get to, so in order to get he feels like Han, that is, the only way to get this droid back to the Resistance is Maz's help, Maz Kanata, who is played by Lupita. Complete CG character, obviously.
Yeah.
So we get to this place on
Takodana. I mean, let's just call it
Takodana. And her palace, which we find out she's been there for 1,000 years.
1,000 years old. That's older than Yoda.
Yes.
Not too much older, but older than Yoda.
That is older than Yoda. Yeah. Absolutely. So she's seen a lot. Now I love her. What I loved about her, when they had sitting around a table, they're talking. Again, she sums up basically the history of Star Wars.
Yeah,
and I love how she categorizes it. I've seen it all from the Sith, which was basically the prequels.
Yeah,
the Empire, which is basically the original trilogy, and now the First Order. So it's you can almost it's like three different empires.
I wish she had said like the Sith, the Separatists. I wish she had done that. And just not thinking about it because
that was basically they were the Sith, right?
I was thinking the Sith more so before that, but when the Sith ruled the galaxy.
But you remember the Sith were gone that whole
about 1,000
her
years,
whole
right?
life.
Yeah,
there was no Sith. They thought that the Sith was gone.
Yeah,
because 1,000 years before Episode 1,
the Sith were extinct for a millennia.
Yeah, they were gone. So there were no Sith until But which is funny because, I mean, who knew about the Sith really except the Jedi?
Yeah.
Right? So the Jedi get wiped out in the Clone Wars, or at the end of the Clone Wars, and this whole time, again, we had this question mark about, well, who even knows about Vader being a Sith or the Emperor was a Sith? Who knows about that? And apparently Maz does.
The novelization kind of clears some of that too. Novelization says that Kylo knows it and Snoke knows it.
Correct.
And that they kind of, and like Kylo thinks of it as like a sentimental notion that Anakin or Vader's like, why Vader killed the Emperor, because it's like he had a very kind of weak moment, and like Snoke like thought of it as I can't remember what the book said, but like just weakness or something like that. But they both knew, so it was. So Luke told, or Han and Leia told him, I guess.
So while they're at Maz's place, though, there is that thing. As we kind of go back to the First Order, we do see at some point the first images of Snoke.
Yeah.
Now, first glance.
Yeah.
Did you know it was a hologram?
No, I didn't think so.
I didn't think so either.
Is he really that big?
He is enormous.
How are they gonna fight this guy?
I totally thought, whoa.
Where's he been this whole time?
Exactly. Like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
You find out he's a hologram, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think and know? Is he even in this? I don't think
he's mentioned in it, but it's nothing. I was trying to look in the script too just now, if it gave him an age or if he'd said anything, but it doesn't. It does say though that Hux is 34 years old.
Oh, okay.
Which puts him being born right when A New Hope ends.
That's right.
So he could be Tarkin's kid if he was just born right around that time.
It could be.
He kind of looks like him. But
it doesn't say who his parents are in there?
No. Just says his parents that were like celebrities in the empire basically. So yeah.
And so what about
so Snoke?
Snoke.
I mean, after watching it, talking with you about it, I didn't really think too much about Plagueis, honestly, while watching it, but I can see how he could be Plagueis. But I still don't think it's definite that he is Plagueis. It is still kind of a stretch, I guess. It's just as much of a stretch that he is Plagueis that he isn't Plagueis, because either he's been this evil Sith guy lurking around for all this time, or he's this evil Sith guy who's Plagueis still lurking around all this time. So both angles are pretty much the same to me, but whether or not he's Plagueis or not.
He looks like he's been killed.
Yeah, he has that big gash on his face.
He's got scar. Yeah, he's got a big scar in his cheek. He's got a big hole in his head, basically.
So it looks like he got a lightsaber slashed across the face.
Yes.
So either that's from Sheev Palpatine way back when, thought to be dead, but he kept himself alive through his power in the midichlorians, which that's his power. Or Luke fought him or something like that, or which I've heard a theory out there.
Yeah, that could be true. I'm
kind of waiting.
I don't know. I know we've talked about it. I'm not sure if it matters. I mean, it would be, to be honest, it would be a great tie to the whole saga.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing, I'm just throwing it out, I'm guessing 9 is going to be the last one of these Skywalker movies, basically.
I think so.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Which would kind of tie the entire saga together, right? Because in episode 3 is when we first hear about Plagueis. A lot of people are mentioning, well, Palpatine calls him the wise. Kylo Ren says that he's very wise. So,
true.
A lot of people are saying, well, that's just right there. It says it. I don't know. I'm not sold that it's Plagueis, but to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
I can buy it fine now.
Yeah.
First, I was like, I don't know if they would go that route, but that's fine because, thought to be dead, and then just kind of waiting around for Palpatine to die off before he kind of came up, regrowing. I mean, he might have been weakened, so he's like trying to grow back. I mean, obviously, the Sith don't come back as Force ghosts.
No.
So this is his way. He's just been slowly keeping himself together through the Force.
I mean, is it possible that is it possible that he truly has been alive this whole time and Palpatine was still the apprentice?
I mean,
he was still lurking in the shadows while Palpatine kind of served, you know what I mean? And then
I just watched
that would kind of default the rule of two in a sense.
Yeah.
But maybe Plagueis was the one that kind of changed it. You know, I don't know.
And I just watched Revenge of the Sith. Just finished it last night, actually. We watched it. Spread out a couple days. Now, pay attention to that scene again where he talks about Darth Plagueis. And he's, still, he's smiling, talking about it, and Darth Plagueis the Wise, as if he's proud of, like, oh, I killed Darth Plagueis the Wise. Or, if we're talking about this different angle, maybe he's smiling, imagining as if it were true, like how I killed Darth Plagueis the Wise, but I really didn't. He's still out there. But I'm just going to say,
because
remember,
killed him. Like what Yoda said, right? Lies and deceit are the dark side, right? I mean, he could be lying. That's all he's doing is lying to Anakin anyway, the whole time. Yeah. So why wouldn't he just lie about that? Because that's what he uses to lure him later, right? Yeah. Together we can figure out how to get this power so you can save.
You told me you knew.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Bait and switch.
So I don't know. So I can buy that either way, to be honest. Now, hopefully we get an explanation of where this guy's been this whole time. Because if it is Plagueis, that means he's been around for over 50 years, right?
Yeah, he's an old guy.
I mean, actually way more than that. Because
he's got to be 100, So
because according to what I know it's no longer canon, but according to the book, Darth Plagueis book, or is it, maybe it is canon somewhere else, but wasn't he slain after Palpatine becomes Chancellor?
Pretty much. It was like,
so you're talking about episode 1, the end of episode 1. Because he's alive during episode 1.
Yeah.
He slays him, I think, after he becomes Chancellor. I think that same night. I think in the book, apparently. I don't know if that's canon again. Right. But if he kills him then, and he's not dead, or maybe they say he's still around, that's 32 years before episode 4, and you're talking about, and they're 30. So you're talking, and obviously he's not human, so he can have that long life.
Yeah.
So, but he's been around for 60-something years at that point, if you believe it's Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
So, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a new bad guy,
Yeah.
But I like to figure out, the problem is do you think it's the Sith? Is he Sith?
I think he's Sith. I think because he's talking about training, completing training. Because right now Kylo's not a Sith yet. He's going to complete his training to become a Sith. Because Abrams has said this several times, where it's the story of these movies is very much a story about how a villain evolves, how he becomes a villain. So Kylo is trying to become a Sith while Rey's trying to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
So I think it's a Sith. That makes sense.
Okay, so again, Snoke, good storyline, I think, that's going on there. I mean, you find out, obviously, he is the supreme leader of this First Order.
Some people have been complaining about it. That's one of the things I'm hearing people then they were intimidated, or they weren't threatened by the thought of Snoke. They thought he's just this random guy. They just, but yeah, people like to nitpick.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, you didn't. In episode 4, you never even saw the Emperor.
Right.
You just heard about him.
Right.
The Emperor dissolved the council permanently. So he's talking about dissolving the Senate. Talking about the Emperor, I mean, you didn't even have an image of what the Emperor looked like. All you cared about was, okay, Tarkin's the bad guy here, and Vader's some dark lord that's, that's scaring everybody.
Yeah.
You didn't have that. So in this, I mean, obviously it's echoing the same thing, where it's, you have two people that are truly kind of the leaders of the First Order here, Snoke and Kylo Ren, and then you have Hux, who's kind of that Tarkin character, which is in charge of all the military.
Yeah, although it seems like just kind of, I mean, just like again, Tarkin and Vader, Hux and Ren are kind of on the same level.
Right.
Anyway. They're both answering to Snoke. They're both kind of competing with
Right.
each other. Which
Totally.
I think that's a very cool dynamic that they have. These two young kids are like, "No, I'll do it. I'll take care of it."
So then we get to, which I felt like was possibly one of the most interesting scenes in the movie, which is Rey finding the lightsaber. There had been rumors forever that the beginning of this movie was going to start with the lightsaber.
Yeah. And actually, I just reread this article because I avoided it when it first came out of the supposed leak of Episode 7. This is like a month or two before the movie came out. In the movie, it's actually, the spoilers are real. Like, these are legit spoilers. And I checked the date of the article is published, and it goes through the entire movie. Mostly correct. There are some big discrepancies, but one of the things was, instead of BB-8 and the map plot line, it was Luke's lightsaber that everybody's trying to find. So that was, that's what we thought. The rumor is that lightsaber floating through space and it falls into this planet.
Well, instead, Maz has had it.
Yeah.
And we don't know for how long or how she got it, which is another story, apparently, she says. So we're probably going to get that somewhere.
And I read somewhere, I don't know if it's in the book or not, it talks about how it's not like some big crazy thing. It's like it's just been kind of passed around. It was found in a junk yard or whatever and just kind of passed around. So not too sure.
So when Rey touches it, though.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Because this is the first time we actually got any flashbacks or any
Clever
flash scenes.
Flashbacks.
Well, yeah.
Very clever.
Visions.
It's Force Visions.
Force Visions in Star Wars. What'd you think about all that?
That was so cool. And it, honestly, even at the third time, I was still trying to figure out some things about it. And I didn't catch, I feel like I've caught it all by now, but I didn't catch everything until I saw it for my third time. Like, there's so many things happening. I heard Yoda's voice. I heard the Darth Vader breathing. I saw, all these little glimpses of stuff and the foreshadowing for the film. And I heard someone say Rey, and then that's it. And then the second time, about the same stuff. And then not until the third time, because I heard about it, that the person who said Rey was Obi-Wan.
Ewan McGregor.
The Rey was Alec Guinness.
Rey was Alec Guinness.
But the these are your first steps is Ewan McGregor, and that just blew my mind. Like that was so cool. I thought that's the coolest little Easter egg is that they brought Ewan McGregor to say that, and it is Obi-Wan talking to Rey. And it's like he's going back and forth from old Obi-Wan to young Obi-Wan. So like it's just such a cool idea that you have Obi-Wan talking to her personally and all that stuff. And also one of the little things about the vision where one of the first things that shows like that tunnel lighting up, and that's like apparently the tunnel where Luke and Vader fought.
Yeah, on Bespin.
Yeah, which I didn't catch the first time, but
that looked familiar to me right when I saw it.
Yeah, it looked familiar. I didn't know it was that specific. I just thought it was just an Imperial kind of thing. But you got the Knights of Ren killing the Jedi. And I think in the script here, I'm going to double check it. In the script, it mentions how they're near a temple. So, of course, they're on wherever planet it is where they are, the new Jedi Order Academy is. And it's Knights of Ren killing the Jedi. But again, like after watching 3 times, I can't tell like the guy who we see get stabbed, if he's holding a lightsaber or anything like that. But there was that shot in the trailer, though, where Kylo was holding something else in his other hand. We pointed it out where it looks like he's holding another lightsaber in his offhand. So that's one of the lightsabers he killed from one of the Jedi.
Probably. Now, here's my thing. After thinking about it for a while, and hearing that they used Alec Guinness, that they used Ewan McGregor, and
you got Frank Oz back.
You hear Yoda. Yeah, you hear now. At first, I was thinking like, okay, yeah, that's her experiencing, hearing those voices, and they're talking to her right now and all that stuff. But then I got to thinking about it, and I got to thinking that I don't think that that's the case.
Which part?
That like these are your first steps. Like I don't know if I'm not buying that he's talking to her.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I don't believe that Obi-Wan has met Rey, that knows who Rey is. So my thinking is that when she's touching this thing, I mean, she obviously is Force sensitive and has the ability, but I feel like she's experiencing Luke's memories.
And probably Anakin's memories, I guess.
And maybe Anakin's memories. So I don't think what she's seeing is what the lightsaber has been through.
But you know
what I mean?
But Obi-Wan addresses Rey. He says her name.
Well, okay, so yeah, that part. Okay, so that actually kills my theory then.
Well,
because
I was just thinking that he's.
But again, it could be.
That's true.
Luke's. It still could be through Luke.
Yeah.
Because if we break it down and say that if we really sit there and talk whether or not we believe she was part of the Jedi Order, which I think it's obvious that she was. Maybe she's had interactions with Obi-Wan's ghost. I don't, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe so, but yeah, I don't. But to me, she's seeing like that whole Bespin hallway is because of Luke's experiences, right, with the saber.
Her grandfather fighting her father.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
reading here because we talked about this before. We weren't sure when she walks up to the door if she uses the Force to open it. The script makes it seem like she does, because the script says she looks at the door lock and the door opens.
Yeah.
So it sounds like,
I feel like she does.
Yeah, she unwillingly used the Force to open the door.
It up.
This was cool.
Now that's the big thing. Now that's good that you're there, because I want you to scroll down to where Maz comes up to her.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really catch this until the third showing, but she says to her when she says something to Rey in the sense that, like, okay, so you know that no one's coming back for you.
Yeah.
But there's someone that could. Didn't she say that? And she pauses, and Rey says, Luke. Right?
Yeah, it says, whomever you're waiting for on Jakku, they're never coming back, but there's someone who still could. And Rey says, Luke.
Right. So, I remember.
But this is the line that gets me, that we're in line with where you're going. Maz then says, the belonging you seek is not behind you, it is ahead. To Luke, basically, is what I feel like she's alluding to. Like, the belonging for your family isn't on Jakku. The belonging for your family is ahead at Luke.
And that's what I'm saying. But but because of all that conversation, after I saw it the third time, I'm like, my gosh, she's basically saying Luke left you there.
Yeah.
And he's not coming for you. You have to go to him. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at.
That's how I read it. Yeah.
But I'm reading nothing of that from anybody else or hearing anybody else comment about that, about Maz basically saying, look, I know that no one's coming for you, but you think that Luke is coming for you, but he's not. You have to go find Luke.
Yeah.
That is your destiny now. It's like, and I'm thinking like, man.
Well, she's saying it without saying it, because I don't think she doesn't want her to know.
No. But I think she's insinuating, like you said, your past, Jakku is over. Mm-hmm. You need to stop worrying about going back there because no one's coming back for you. Even though you may think that Luke could come get you, but he's not.
But do you think that Han Solo told her this is Luke's daughter, or does he not know?
See, now that's a whole...
Maz knows.
Now, a lot of people are talking about that.
Yeah. About
when Finn and Rey leave the table.
And I try to look at that part in the script.
And she says, who is she?
Yeah, who's the girl?
I don't think Han knows who she is.
I guess not. I mean, just because he's probably already gone by the time, he doesn't really know her. He wasn't around for her birth or whatever. I'm not sure. Maybe he was gone before she was born, because maybe Kylo had already been... I don't know,
because she's been around for 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Before he... So you're right. So he may have known... He may have known of a daughter,
but maybe he just like.
But I don't know if
she was
knows.
Dead.
Yes, I don't think he knows that she's alive.
Yeah, so Maz probably knew that Luke dumped his child on,
or figured it out right then.
Yeah, just figured out, like, oh well, that's obviously
because she's got Force sensitive. Yeah. She's Force sensitive, obviously. So maybe she's put it two and two together. Like, wait a minute,
this lightsaber is calling to you.
Yeah, which is not in the movie. The Force, it's calling to you.
It's like pieced together a little bit, like the calling to you thing. Yeah, like because she says,
not in there anywhere.
Well, she says, I remember this. She says, talking about the history of that lightsaber. Where is it? The lightsaber. That lightsaber is Luke's, and his father's before him, and now it calls to you.
It calls
the
to
lightsaber
you.
calls to you. So, but the Force, they just pieced it together with her.
So does she say it calls to you in the trailer, or it's calling to you? I thought she said it's calling to you.
That's right. It's just an alternate take, I guess.
Well, I think she says that at some point. Maybe it's not in the script.
Well, they cut out some other shots.
Yes,
too, from the trailer, but
I think somewhere in that hallway she says the Force, it's calling to you.
Yeah,
and she doesn't even say just let it in.
She doesn't.
Never said that. Or that could have been shot for the trailer.
She doesn't say who are you.
Right.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Who are you? How do they say
who
it?
are you?
Yeah.
And she doesn't say I'm nobody.
Yeah.
I'm no one.
No one.
Anyway, so very interesting. This whole Maz thing, which is very Yoda-ish. Mm-hmm. I kept feeling like she was talking to Yoda. It's almost like she should have been a Jedi, even though she never was.
And it says there in the book that she chose not to go the path of Jedi.
Wow. Because she had to have been chosen.
She had the Force. She chose instead to use her connection to the Force to stay out of danger. She just didn't want to get mixed up in all the Jedi hullabaloo, so she stayed away.
Which, if you come to think of it, if she's that old, she may have been around for the whole Sith Jedi war that that apparently happened that wiped them all out. So they thought. Anyway, so real quick, I want to get more into some deeper stuff here, but so shortly after, obviously, we get the introduction of Leia because there's this big battle there, blah blah blah. Kylo captures Rey, shows his power again by freezing her basically and knocking her out using the Force. Leia comes, kind of, you get basically definitive. I saw our son, and blah blah blah. They leave and go to Dakar, which is where the Resistance is kind of is out. And now this is where you learn about Starkiller Base. Finn kind of talks about the whole super weapon and all this stuff. Now they fire the weapon.
Right.
Onto the Republic. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little confusing, and I'm glad again we got this book because a lot of questions are, what happened to the Republic on Coruscant? So, Mon Mothma apparently wanted to reestablish the Republic and make it so that the people are more involved.
Right.
So instead of housing the Senate just on Coruscant, they decided to move the Senate to different worlds, basically almost yearly or annually, it seems like.
Every time they had to meet.
Where they are kind of hanging. Oh, I think what the way I read it was that they would go to a system and hang there for like a year. Then when they go to another system and just move the Senate around so that people were always involved. Hosnian?
Yeah.
Hosnian Prime is hosting the Republic right now. And there are several, obviously you can tell by the way Starkiller shoots, they're all on like, I guess, moons or planets in that system.
Just the entire system.
Like and a lot of the Armada is there. The Navy is there, the Republic Navy, the Senate. And at the time of this movie, I just had it up here. The Republic is led by Chancellor. It's not a Supreme Chancellor. They dropped a Supreme.
It's got a goofy name.
But he is the alien that you see in the shot before the planet blows up. I can't remember.
Villachan.
Yeah, Villachan. Now he is. Now if you see the kind of the African American female.
That's Maisie Williams. Maisie something. She was confirmed to...
she plays Corsella.
Yeah.
Now, she is standing there. She's the human that's standing there. Next to her is the Chancellor.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You close-ups of them both.
Yeah, I mean, it focuses on them before as the planet's getting ready to get destroyed. So they are, she's a commander, it looks like, rank of commander. So I guess she might be his, security.
Well, she's close with Leia, too. It says there. She's like Leia's...
She's resistance.
Liaison.
And she's resistance.
Yeah.
She's part of the resistance, actually. So, yeah. So the Republic has adopted a new symbol here. That's the New Republic symbol. Mm-hmm. The resistance is still using the same symbol from the rebellion. I'm sorry. So the Republic has adopted the rebellion and kind of put some spikes on it.
Yeah.
And then the actual symbol is still the resistance symbol. But so anyway, basically, when Starkiller Base shot that towards Hosnian Prime, they destroyed the Senate.
The Senate,
and the Republic.
The entire, pretty much the government.
Yes, pretty much the government has been destroyed.
Yeah, so they do glance over that a bit.
They do. I feel like they just kind of skipped right over it.
The New Republic is horribly crippled right now.
Because there wasn't a single scene where you learned about where the Republic is. Yeah. Besides, we're destroying the Republic now. Yeah. Well, Hux.
And then Finn later says it was the Republic or something like that. But yeah, Hux says this is the last day of the Republic.
Yeah. They just destroyed the Republic.
In his speech, it says this bring an end to the Senate, to the cherished fleet. Basically, so
yes.
He mentions it, but you don't catch it really.
And again, there's no scene on that planet where you learn who the Chancellor is, or why they're there, or why they're not a Coruscant. You just don't know any of that. Mm-hmm. You do if you read this book.
Yeah,
but I remember thinking I wanted to know.
Yeah,
I wanted to know
prequels to that. So the trilogy prequel to the sequel trilogy. There you go. That's just why. Let's just do it.
But again, and I want to talk about this when we kind of wrap up, but. Again, in episode 4, what are you told?
Yeah.
You're told that the Senate got dissolved. And you don't have to see it. You're just told it.
Yeah, and you don't even realize, it's okay. Senate.
So, there's a Senate. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
When you're watching that for the first time.
What implications does that have?
Correct, yeah. What? Yeah, because you don't know. And again, I think it took the prequels to really discover how big the galaxy is.
Right.
I mean, look at the Senate. Mm-hmm. You may think of just our Senate.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Or just one room full of, one small room full of people, but the Senate is composed of thousands of worlds, right? Mm-hmm. But again, and you're right about this map. Apparently there's thousands of civilized worlds, so this is not even close to being complete. But anyway, so Republic's basically destroyed. They found out that the resistance is on Dakar, so they're repowering the weapon to destroy the resistance, because now the resistance is pretty much all that's left.
Yeah.
Once the resistance is gone, there's nothing to stop them from... I don't even know what they would do, because there's not a government now to take over. Where would they go? They would go to Coruscant, I guess, and take over the...
Yeah, they would just assume power. Just be like, hey, it's ours again.
I guess. So there's this all-out war on Starkiller Base where... now this is where you talked about first up, Finn and Han and Chewie show up there to disable the shields,
right?
So that the fleet can come in, the pilots can come in and destroy the. I don't even know. Can't remember.
It was an oscillator
thing,
just
the powers the weapon, basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get there. Battle happens. Most important thing, two big things happen. One. We find out about Ben Solo.
Yeah. Oh.
What your review on that whole scene that happened in there?
Well, there was a moment before that between Han and Leia. They when she said, "Bring our boy back." We're just thinking oh my gosh, he's not going to do it. This is it. He's going to die.
So when did that when you
that's
thought
probably me and Corey both were just I think it's too much of it just can't go that perfect, I don't think. So it's just, we just kind of thought, that he's not going to make it. But I was still hoping, but him walking up to that bridge, the silence of it, and just him walking up to it. You just know, like, this is not going to be good.
I knew.
You're preparing yourself for the worst.
I knew right when he started walking towards him. It's like he's dead.
So I'm already starting to get choked up at the point. And then when he says Ben, then he just yells at Ben, and like the reveal, like you feel it. I don't know. You feel like I'm such a sucker for father-son stories. So like him just yelling that Ben to his son, like that was already starting to get me. He turned around and he's just like Han Solo, and he just like, and then he took off. You know, what were you expecting to see? I was expecting to see the face of my son, and it's just, and it just takes it off, and then he walks up to him. But you actually get a glimmer of hope. Like I thought, like, he might actually throw down his lightsaber and walk away with Han Solo, because he's, saying like, just come home. It's not too late. Because when Kylo says it's too late, I'm like thinking like, oh my gosh, he's actually battling. He's still battling, because we got a scene earlier where he says, "I'm struggling," and he's talking to Vader's helmet, like, "I'm struggling with the light side right now," which is also a good scene. Talks about we can talk about later, but and then he says, I'm torn apart inside. I know what to do, but I don't think I have the strength to do it. Will you help me? And it's just, it's just so sad. It's so.
Now he's obviously talking about killing him.
Yeah, he is saying like, I have this. I have to kill you, but I don't think I have. But he just says, I don't think I have the strength to do it. I don't think I can kill you, but I know I have to. Kill you. So he's battling with that.
Absolutely, I feel like that. But I think he's talking about.
Oh yeah,
killing you.
Yeah,
I don't think he's talking about leaving.
Yeah. I have the strength. I know I have to leave, but I don't have the strength. No, it's the opposite. Yeah. I'm already in full on tears at this point. They're just talking to each other. But I'm still like, this is so bad. I'm blubbering. And then he kills him and pushes him off the balcony. And it's Chewie's reaction. He just roars and hurts Kylo, which I missed the first part. I missed that he actually wounded Kylo, because I was just so torn up. But then and then it's just so epic. And then Kylo, you could tell he's hurt by it, and even in the book, it talks about how he's shaken by that decision, like how he thought that would make him stronger to kill Han Solo, but no, it actually made him a little weaker. And that's why Kylo, talking with my friends about it, for me, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, is the most compelling Star Wars villain to me. More compelling than Vader to me, I think. I just think Adam Driver, the way he performed, and just his story, for me, he's the most empathetic character for me. I just feel so bad for him. Mm-hmm. So bad for Kylo. And it's just, and when he gets back and he's about to fight Finn, he's just yelling. He's just like, you called him traitor. And he's like, we're not done yet. And he's just it's so heartbreaking. But like that, but that scene shook me like even for like a few minutes afterwards. Like I was still a mess and like crying after that scene, and they're like, they're trying to run away and they're trying to escape. I was still just like torn apart. Like, this is a hero, a figure of mine. It's just Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
it's Harrison Ford and it's Han Solo. It's just this guy is no longer going to be in my life. This character. So, any new story, any future stories, I guess. I don't know, because there'll be the prequel, obviously, but it was heartbreaking. But I understand why it had to happen, and I totally am fine with it. Even the second time watching it, I still cried, and it was just still a mess. But very amazing scene. And I love the way that scene was lit. Mm-hmm. It was very in your face about it, with the whole light, the blue light and the red light battling it out, and the shadows kind of battling it out. It wasn't very subtle at all, but it was super powerful and super effective. And so I think that was my favorite scene in the whole film.
I'm gonna go against a little bit of it.
That's fine.
And my only thing was for one, I read a review, or I read someone's comment, which I actually agree with. I wish that we did not see his face until that scene.
Oh.
I feel like it would have felt more. I would have felt more for Kylo and what he was going through, because we see his face when he's talking to Rey.
Yeah.
And to me, honestly, I feel like that scene would have been more powerful if he had still stayed in the mask.
See, that's my second favorite scene, because I love
the scene.
I love the playing, but I love the facial cues we get from Kylo when he's realizing like he can't probe her mind.
And that's probably why you have to take the mask off.
Yeah. I think it makes him more human too, which is what I like.
Yeah, but I didn't want to feel that until that pathway there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure you could have done the Rey scene without him taking the helmet off.
Right.
And effectively done that, so maybe that's why they did it. But I think it would have been incredibly effective if he wanted to see his face of his son and he took the helmet off.
Yeah.
Now, so when they're talking, they're great. I feel like though, and this kind of goes back to what we talked about pre viewing the night before, was whether or not we were going to see the JJ moments. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was the perfect time for a JJ moment. Yeah. I don't feel like it was a JJ moment. I didn't like if you really watch it again, because I really paid attention the third time, like the killing part, the strike comes very sudden. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even on them. Mm-hmm. Like it's on Rey and they're looking and all of a sudden it's like you hear it ignite and you don't even see it in him, right? You just see Han reacting because it's going through under, whatever. So, and then there's that moment where he touches his face, but I don't know. Leading up to that, I mean, after he strikes him and he falls, I get that. That looks great. I don't know. To me, I wanted a little more in there. The whole. I get. Again, Kylo's. I love his lines. I love his lines about struggling, and I can get right then. And he's like, okay, I know. I feel like, okay, I know he has to kill him, and he wants to kill him because he wants to be all powerful like Vader. And when they start tugging on the saber, I mean, to me right there, it's like, God, he's gonna kill him. Okay, so in my opinion, what I would have liked to seen a little more JJ because I don't feel like I just don't feel like he did that scene like he does most of those type scenes. Like what's funny is like 2 days before that I watched Star Trek Into Darkness again. That old thing when Kirk is dying, like that was. I mean, I bawl at that scene. I mean, that scene is incredibly emotional. I didn't get that emotion to me in a way. I know you did, and some people did, and you know how I feel about Star Wars. I didn't feel that emotion. Like I felt like as Han was walking the whole time, like, okay, I'm gonna lose Han Solo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I felt like there was almost a little too much buildup to it, and then when it happened, I don't feel like it was as dramatic. Like I almost feel like Kylo. I almost feel like he should have been more aggressive about it. To be honest, like I'm with you. Like I feel like he should have given them the lightsaber and then just start force choking them, and maybe then stab him or throw him off the. I don't know. So I just don't think just stabbing him and letting him fall. To me, if he wanted to take that step, I felt like he should have taken. He would have willingly took it more aggressively, but then still had that regret.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Vader or Anakin Vader. Like he, in order to, he just had hate.
Yeah,
right. I mean, hate is part of it. I don't feel like he has hate.
I think it's just because he's still struggling with everything. He's not that villain yet. He's still evolving.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's even said it. He wants to be that villain. He's trying to be that villain.
Yeah.
He's even pleading to Vader, "I'm trying.
Yeah.
Show me what to do, so I can be you."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he doesn't have the strength to do it. So I think he wanted to be like. Because he's told Snoke, like, he means nothing to me. Like, I call him Han Solo, I don't call him father. I think he wanted to take him out that way. I just don't think he could. I just don't think he had it in him to be that brutal to him. Because it wasn't until later he was really gripping the lightsaber really tight. Like, he kind of held it there, and then he started to grip it and started tugging on it. And then...
Well, he's just not letting go. He's not letting go. So he's struggling to do it. I can understand that, but But if he wants to be Darth Vader, he's got to be. And I'm sure Snoke, if he's turned to the dark side, Snoke has introduced hatred, and fear, and anger, and loss, and all that stuff. He has done that already.
Yeah.
So because it's to me it's naive to think that he just decided, oh, I want to be like Darth Vader, so I'm going to kill all these Jedi.
Yeah.
He's got Snoke gave him reasons for that, and he's been doing this now for what 15 years.
Yeah.
So he is evil.
Yeah.
He's killed. I mean, he just slaughtered Tekka right in front of everybody. You know what I mean? So you've seen he is evil.
Yeah. But he hasn't faced anything like this before.
But that's what I'm saying. So he knows that's what I'm saying. To me, the movie is in order to get to where I need to be as a villain, as all-powerful Vader, I need to kill my father.
Yeah.
So now the struggle, yes, I could see the struggle there that, okay, I don't want to kill him. But we don't know, unless you, like you said, unless you read the books and everything, that he struggled after that. You don't know that.
I think I kind of did get that just because of his emotional stability that we saw in his face after, all that stuff. And like during the fight between Rey and Finn, I thought just seeing his face look like he's just been crying. He was just a mess.
Well, he's also dying.
That too. I mean, but like I think he's just shouting. He's at the point where he's just yelling at him and just doesn't. He's just upset. He's mad. He just doesn't. I think it's that spiral effect where it's like I've just killed my father. I'm doing this. I'm in it now, and I just can't take it. I think because the whole time in the movie they keep telling him not to get your personal feelings involved, and I think that's just what he's doing. I think he's letting that part of himself go, where he's letting his personal feelings go, and he's just struggling to actually let that go. And I think that's what I see in him.
See, I didn't get that sense at all. I got the sense that after he killed Han, he gets shot.
Yeah.
And right away he looks up and he sees Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
And to me, his whole mindset is, okay, I need to get that saber.
Yeah.
Because that's his next goal, right? I've made my first step, well, maybe my last step into becoming my grandfather.
Right.
Now I need his saber.
Yeah.
And that's what, and I remember, if you remember when he thinks he kills Finn, I guess.
Yeah.
Holsters his and reaches for, it's like, you can see in his face, like, finally, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can, well then, now, interesting point here, again, so, we said Han was an emotional scene. This, I felt like this was one of the best scenes, obviously, when Rey catches the saber. Now, you knew, I felt like I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But in the novelization, did I read that in the novelization, or did I read it maybe in a prior draft? He actually looks at Rey after that and says, "It is you."
Yeah, that was
Now, where did that come from?
I don't think that. I want to say that I don't think that was the book, but maybe
I want to say it was an early draft of the script.
I think that's right. But I heard the same thing.
So he looks at it and he's like, "It is you."
Yeah.
So, which I think we'll find out in episode 8 that he knows who she is. And again, I don't think her name is Rey.
Yeah.
I think that was a hidden name, to be honest, because that's why I don't think he knows her. I think he's like, oh, so you're this girl that was going to be part of the
potentially spared and
possibly
sent to Jakku, maybe.
Hey,
Luke maybe not even knowing that she was alive.
That's possible. So anyway, then obviously the climax happens where they fight, and Rey uses the Force to defeat him. Necessarily, basically scars the hell out of him.
Same scar that Anakin had.
Yes, I mean, you want to talk about becoming Vader? He's on that way.
Yeah,
just spared his limbs, this time. But for all those people, and I do want to mention that, and I'll get your opinion too about this. A lot of people are obviously like, well, how could Rey know all this stuff? Use the Force.
How to use the Force? Yeah,
fight with a lightsaber. Blah blah blah. Now, I'm okay with it because, to be honest, if you really watch it, if you really watch what they're doing, they're really not having a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, it's not.
They're battling basically like Luke does.
Yeah,
like almost like kind of fencing and throwing it out there.
You're just baseball batting each other.
Yeah, you're not
swinging.
what we have been come to finding out about the Jedi is that there were techniques.
Yeah.
Right? There's form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I can't remember. I think there's 7 forms, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, there's styles of fighting that the Jedi used to train and teach. Now, Rey obviously doesn't know those. And you can tell, even Kylo doesn't really know these. You can tell he's trained in a little bit. You can, because he's doing the spinning. Yeah, he's doing so. And I remember JJ explaining that these saber fights are going to be more about aggression than actual technique.
Yeah.
And you can see that. and her technique is basically,
she knows how to use the thing.
You know, full of mistakes. I mean, she's just basically sticking the saber out, you know.
But she knows how to use a melee weapon. Though.
Correct.
I mean, she knows how to a big pole, so maybe she'd be better with a double lightsaber.
That's very true. And then, of course, Finn, if you know about his past a little bit, they obviously trained with weapons, different types of weapons and swords and ways to combat stuff like that. So, but again, Finn in the end gets his butt kicked.
He wounds him though.
He wounds him. He does. He does.
That's very surprising.
And to take that part in the shoulder, like that was tight.
Yeah,
that was great. But Rey, I can totally buy that. I can totally buy her defending herself like that, like you said, because she has some fighting techniques, some fighting styles. She probably, if you think about it, if you believe she was a youngling, she had some type of training.
It's like born identity kind of thing. It's triggering back your mind.
Right. And then the whole Force thing is, you know, I mean, Luke, think about it. In episode 4, Luke had slight training on the Millennium Falcon heading to Alderaan.
Yeah.
But then he was able to use the Force to destroy the Death Star. I mean, you can't tell me that just using the Force a little bit to be able to combat a saber attack. You know, it's not like she's
using her instincts.
Correct.
You know?
It's not like she used it to destroy the Star Killer base. You know what I mean? She used it to fight back a little bit.
Yeah, and my apologetics for that really is, you know, she's heard stories of the Force. She's heard stories of what Jedi could do. So I just feel like she discovered that she had the Force ability while she was being interrogated by. That was instinct. Her fighting back and using the Force to resist
in her mind.
That was pure instinct. I think she just did that. That's fine. You know. Then through that, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I think I can use the Force." And like by this belief, you know, I believe I can use the Force now. I know Jedi can use it to do mind tricks, so I'm going to do it.
I'm going to try it anyway.
So I think she just heard about it, so she just kind of, you know, and that seems like a very basic level of Jedi power, and she's very strong in the Force, obviously. So that's really
that was definitely a way of testing it.
Yeah.
If I can get the Stormtrooper to let me go, then I know something's happening. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it took her a while to figure it out.
And just the fact that she can lock Kylo out of her mind is very powerful.
She resisted you?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm okay with all that. And then, of course, the end. Let's just get to the end.
Yep.
The reveal of Luke Skywalker, obviously.
Yes.
Now, we both had our guesses that we weren't going to see Luke until the end.
Yeah,
we said that he's probably not going to be in this movie hardly. There was a part of me that felt like after the base blew up, and they were celebrating, there was part of me thinking, I don't think we're going to see Luke at all. Did you think that at all?
I was just thinking like I thought we were going to see him, but I thought we were going to see more than what we did. It was literally like a minute and a half.
Not even
a minute.
Yeah, I don't even think he was on screen.
That was less than I thought. But I knew we were going to see him. I was like, how in the world are we going to see him?
because then I started thinking like, well, that explains why he's not in the trailer. That explains why he's not on the poster. That we're not going to see him.
Yeah,
because I almost felt like when the Falcon lifted and went off, like, exactly. And then I would have been okay with that.
Yeah. It just would have made me so like anxious, like, oh my gosh,
absolutely,
Luke, because we would have got that one shot of him that we had seen of him putting his hand on R2 and the Force vision.
Yes, which was a flashback in a sense, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we kind of both agree that it was probably burning all the Jedis that died.
Yeah,
that's why that scene is kind of with that.
That's a
ash
big
and stuff.
almost like a big fire.
Yes, and R2 was still around him, obviously. You know.
Yeah.
So another thing we skipped over, R2 coming back to life or whatever.
Which some people also freak out.
They're upset about that.
How does he do that?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we get Luke, no conversation. Now, I do want to point out that I didn't see it until the second showing, but there is a tombstone.
Yeah.
That he's standing next to.
Yeah. I mean, it's not in the script that he's standing next to a tombstone, but I still believe that it is.
I even after the third time seeing it, I'm like, it's clearly something.
Yeah, me too.
Which is, I think, his wife or probably his wife, probably Rey's mother.
Some people, I don't know why, but like some people are thinking like it's more believable that it's a memorial to Han Solo. He felt Han Solo's death and he made a memorial to it. Like that.
No, I don't buy that. I don't even think he knows. I mean, he may have felt it, I guess, but.
I think, come on.
Okay, so the question then is, now that you've seen it, because you had your guesses, who is Rey?
Who is Rey? I think Rey is Luke's daughter.
Okay, I think he's Luke's daughter as well.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm pretty much 100% sure.
I'll be surprised if she's not.
I will be 100% surprised if she's not.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Okay, so.
It's called Ahch-To Island. Actually, it actually has a name.
Ahch-To Island. Oh, okay.
Ahch. I'm gonna say Ahch-To. Ahch-To Island. I'll say that.
All right, so movie's over. Episode 8's coming in May of 2017. If you can, tell me just briefly, what issues did you have with the movie? Did you have any issues? Looking back at 3 different showings, what is there an issue that you have with
There's
the movie?
not really many issues that I can't kind of get behind. Just the one that always kind of sticks around is that how similar it is to episode 4. And there are clear similarities. Not as much as I kept reading about. Like it's like, oh, it's basically a rehash of episode 4, and it is. I mean, the big thing, there are very clear homages. Like, well, there's actually one big clear homage for episode 4 is Poe putting the plans into BB-8, just like Leia did to R2-D2. But there's that visual homage with the lightsaber in the snow, very much like an Empire. And there's homages to all that. But like story-wise, you start off, and even Abrams has clearly admitted this. Yeah, it's, I wanted it to make it like A New Hope, where we start with someone in the desert and we end with a trench run. And like even before that, the bad guys infiltrating that village, just like Vader infiltrating the ship.
Right.
Then he goes to this planet, then he goes to that planet, and then they talk about the plan to destroy the big ship, the big machine, and they go and destroy it. And there is a trench run. But it's just that is the big similarity. But for me, that's such a back burner storyline for me, honestly. Like it's for me, it's just a plot device to get some of the people back into the original mindset, but also just to get everybody in the same room. Because really the story for me is Rey, Finn, and really it's just Rey and Kylo for me, honestly. Finn is still important. I like Finn a lot, but for me it's Rey and it's Kylo and their relationship to the whole universe. Because I was more invested into them. I barely paid attention to the fight, the dog fight, the trench run, all that stuff. There was a part where I thought they actually might not win. I was like, this actually seems pretty difficult. But ultimately, it's like, they're going to blow it up. It's fine, whatever. But what's going to happen to Finn? He looks like he's dead. What's going to happen to Rey? What's going to happen to Kylo and all that stuff? So that is one thing that, that is kind of strange. Like, why did they do it so similar to episode 4? I understand JJ's reasoning, but still, like, why didn't they just try something different?
Yeah, I remember you pointed out to me, I think you sent me a clip about them discussing it.
Yeah.
And he says clearly that he believes that the only way to go forward was to go back.
Right, which I believe that. I can understand that, totally.
Yeah.
But, I think there could have been another way you could have written it. Sure, that might have been better or just as good. I don't know. But at the moment, I might think of something in a minute when you might start talking, but that's the biggest thing I can think of. The comedy aspect of it, Finn, there were some big comedy parts with Finn, especially when he got Phasma, and he's like, I'm in charge, Phasma, now, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
It was funny, and Han Solo had some funny parts too, that felt a little different, honestly, than most Star Wars movies. But I'm okay with it though. I think because like Finn's whole thing, like also with Rey, where he says, "You got a family, got a boyfriend, got to keep boyfriend."
Yeah.
That was different to me. That wasn't like, we don't really get that kind of humor, I don't think, in Star Wars.
No.
But so it was a little off-putting for a little bit. But ultimately, I'm fine with it though. I think I can live with it.
I think I just want to say, I think I do hear the similarity complaints.
Yeah.
Now, there's no mistake about it, because a lot of people are like, no, it's not. It's not, but there's no mistake about it. It is the same story.
Yeah.
What is different, though, are the characters.
Yeah.
And let's not make any mistake about this. And it took the second time I saw it. I thought about this after when I walked out of the theater the first time. The bottom line, this is a Han Solo movie. Mm-hmm. This movie, to me, is about Han Solo. I mean, I don't think there's any. I think when Michael Arndt, because who knows really what his movie was about?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know.
I want to read his script.
I honestly would be interested to know what George had in mind for episode 7. Because he's talking about how they completely went a different way.
Yeah.
I would really like to know.
Read his pitch,
his outlines for 7, 8, 9. Because to be honest, I probably would have liked it. I'm just saying I probably would have liked it. But clearly, when JJ took over and got Kasdan in to write, they wrote a Han Solo movie.
Yeah, I'm sure Kasdan wrote.
They wrote
all this stuff.
How can we pay homage to this character?
Yeah.
And send him off in the best way possible, because it was probably told by Harrison, I'll do one of them and that's it.
Yeah. Although, is he contracted to do 8? I feel like I've been hearing that he's actually in the billing of episode 8 as like flashbacks or whatever.
Well,
which I
don't see how.
Got the confirmation on that, but
because they're casting like so many other characters. Sounds like Benicio del Toro, I think, is in it, right?
In it.
And there's some female characters that they're casting for it. So anyway, but I feel like this was, if you look at it as a Han Solo movie, I feel like, which it was, the story's there, but the characters are different. You have Rey, who is like Luke Skywalker, but again, it's a female character. It's we haven't had that strong female Jedi, technically, that we've seen some of them, but in the main storyline, because everybody kind of thought, well, is Leia going to be a Jedi, or what happened there? And we obviously don't have that answer yet. But Finn is a completely different character. There's nothing like him, and there's no one in the original trilogy that defected from the Empire to join the rebellion, and you know what I mean. So you can't say that's a similarity. Yes, you still have Han Solo, but so I feel like, to me, everybody, I don't think anybody has said anything negative about BB-8.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So I feel like, and again, Poe, we don't have that, he's kind of like the guy I think everybody thought Wedge would be.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Yeah.
He's so much more dynamic, I think.
Yeah. He's cool.
He's cool, man. And he's great. Yeah. I mean, he's like maybe almost a better pilot than Luke. So
took out all those.
I know that one shot. I mean, that one sequence.
One heck of a pilot.
So I liked where the characters are going.
Yeah.
I love the characters. I feel like Finn is kind of going to replace Han.
Yeah.
As kind of the smuggler, not smuggler, just but the sidekick, the scoundrel next to Chewie. Yeah. I think him and Chewie are the ones that are going to be in the Falcon.
I think Rey's going to be. I think she's got it. I think Rey and Chewie.
I don't think now. I think Rey's going to be training with Luke.
Yeah.
I think Finn is going to somehow get in this. Now, again, Finn's not a pilot, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe
because Rey knows so much about the Falcon already.
You're right. Maybe so. But somehow, I don't know. Finn is going to be that. It seems like he was set up to be that charismatic, lovable guy that everybody roots for, which is Han Solo, right? Yeah. I think Finn is that new guy, next guy, and Poe's going to be still that fighter pilot, and you're going to have Luke come in and kind of be the Obi-Wan now to Rey. So I think it was a good beginning to the next trilogy. I the issues, like again, the only issues I had were kind of honestly Han's death scene. I think Kylo was a great character. I feel like I would have felt more for him, like I said, if the helmet didn't come off until then. I don't really have that many issues with it. I'm okay. Like again, what I said like in the beginning was that I walked out with a certain appreciation and love for the movie. Mm-hmm. It hasn't wavered after a couple showings, but hearing some of the negative stories and comments from people, like I agree with some of them, but it doesn't change. Like I agree with, it is a repeat story, but I'm actually okay with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm actually okay with it. Yes, maybe it shouldn't have been a Death Star type weapon. Maybe it should have been something else, but
Episode 1 has a very similar story too. I mean, literally.
Oh, absolutely.
1, 4, and 7.
Well,
are
1
really close
again.
echoes.
Yeah, I agree with you. 1 had what was basically an echo, right? You had a kid from a desert planet that got discovered and brought off. He ends up destroying the Death Star,
which is a ball surrounded by a thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a Death Star.
Right.
It wasn't a planet-killing thing. So yes, I agree with you. And Lucas even said there's echoes, right? And I feel like there probably would have been an echo in his Episode 7, but it probably wouldn't have been a Star Killer base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been a Death Star. I think he would have done something different. So that part, I don't know. And I hope they come out with something like this. And maybe it's in here. I don't know if you read it, but like, how long did it take to build Star Killer Base?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about something that looks like, but it's something that looked like it was about 10 to 20 times bigger than the Death Star.
It's an entire planet.
So right.
It has to be bigger.
15 years doesn't seem like that's a lot of time. Because think about it, they don't even they're less people than the Empire, right? They don't have as many stormtroopers working.
Much all on Star Killer Base.
That's all of them, right? He's talking to all of them.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, is that something that the Empire was doing? Was building before?
And the Unknown Region? See, I don't think so. I think that they started building this around the time the First Order started. That's what I got the idea from, just reading little bits of information about it. Maybe it says in that.
Have you read this part?
No, I've not specifically read all of it. I kind of skimmed it. But no, I think it maybe took them 15 years to do it. I mean, it does say that they chose Star Killer Base because of it has unique crystals in the planet which transforms energy. So maybe maybe it kind of helped streamline the process a bit, that they were able to use the planet itself to absorb the sun's energy. But no, I mean, again, like, because I initially laughed off the idea, like, oh yeah, of course they're gonna have a planet that destroys systems. Yeah, that's kind of stupid. But I'm still like that's strange they went that route, but I'm fine with it. It's done. It's over. It's over with. They're not gonna. I'm hopefully pretty sure they won't do it again.
Right.
Build something else. Let's build an entire.
We're just gonna do a better Death Star.
Yeah.
Now.
A really small thing that can destroy it this time. Small is the new big.
Now, it does say here, though, the sheer size of Star Killer operation means that the First Order must rely on droid workers. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of droid workers.
And here's the thing, too, and I talked to my buddy Adam about this, is that this movie actually mirrors a trilogy from the EU where instead of the new super weapon for this trilogy was called the Sun Crusher. Whereas it was like a ship-sized weapon. It was a ship that could destroy an entire sun and destroy an entire system, basically. And the guy who operated it was this Jedi called Kid Duron, and he was like this promising new student that Han Solo kind of helped recruit. So he was really close with Han Solo. And then he was, while training with Luke on Yavin 4, was manipulated by the spirit of an old Sith Lord. And then became evil, destroy the system, than like his own story. So that although they may not have intentionally, maybe Hidalgo, I don't know if he had any say in the story of this at all, but didn't intentionally pull from this Jedi Academy trilogy, but it does reflect a lot of.
I think they did. I mean, they obviously borrowed Ben.
That's so awesome.
From the EU. Those of you who don't know, it's Ben Skywalker, Luke's son. So that's again, they're using a descendant of Luke.
Yeah,
they just made her female, and then they gave Ben to Solo's kid. There's no twins.
Maybe it's Jaina Skywalker.
Now,
Ben Solo.
Here, I heard a rumor. Or did I hear a comment that it's possible that Kylo does have a twin?
He killed the twin, maybe, or something.
No, that she's just she just chose a different. She just went a different path.
Maybe.
She didn't go into the Jedi Order, and she just.
Or she's somewhere else. She's part of the First Order, but maybe she's somewhere else. Maybe she's with Snoke.
But there's somebody out there. I read somewhere that someone might, because all these female castings, like they're saying that they're casting his twin. That Luke and Leia, or Leia and Han had twins, and she just, or maybe they hid her. I don't know, something. It's possible that we may get hit. There may be Solo twins still, maybe. So overall, and then the last real kind of, again, we said this. We made a point to talk about this a lot the night before. I don't feel like I saw a J.J. Abrams movie, to be honest.
Well, there weren't that many. There were like a couple lens flares.
Only a couple. But even those weren't. They were pretty subtle.
The part that felt Abrams to me were some of the camera movements. There were some good sweeping motion shots that he does, like the X-wing shot where he kind of follows Poe Dameron down the steps, pans with him and all this kind of stuff, and goes back and forth. That did feel very Abrams-esque to me, and also the interrogation scene between Rey and Kylo. That first one there was a shot where as soon as Kylo started to do his mind probe thing, the camera kind of did this like Dutch angle kind of thing. It started to move. The camera started kind of moving to like this canted angle, which that angle, just that move felt very Abrams-esque to me. Like, because he likes to play with his camera angles a lot, and I enjoy that. Now, with the Han Solo death scene, the part that did feel Abrams to me, because with thinking about like Super 8 and thinking about Star Trek, when he has like two characters kind of just emotionally battling it out, like there was just some moments there where it's just silence and the two characters are just kind of like looking at each other. Like with Super 8, it's between the kid and his father in the house. When he catches him making that movie, and he's like, "You don't have to do this anymore," that kind of stuff. And the kid's crying and yelling at the father. And there's like a moment where they just kind of look at each other before they both walk their separate ways, or the father just leaves. Like there's just a moment where it's just silence and they're just looking at each other there. Also, with Star Trek, when Kirk Sr. Although he's not looking at his wife, he's looking up. I guess that's something. You get the feel that they're looking at each other. When she realizes that he's going to stay behind, you see her face just kind of like realize it, and his face too. There's just that quiet moment. I got that quiet moment between Ren and Han Solo, Ben and Han. Actually, before the lightsaber goes, they just kind of like look at each other before. There's like a very long silence there. Does it, and then that whole touch in the face kind of thing, which is thank you, and he falls. That was a small moment that I got, but you're right though. It was less Abrams than normal, very less than normal.
Yeah, it felt like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it did.
It felt like a Star Wars movie, which I thought was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good balance. I would have liked more Abrams moments, but again, it didn't kill my appreciation for the film. So
he wishes he would be directing 8 now.
And that's what we look forward to now is Episode 8. Rogue One first, of course, in a year from now, and then Episode 8.
A year and 4 months.
Right now you normally be thinking 3 years, but half that time, which is incredible. All right, so I think that's our review. I'm sure we'll talk more about it as we see it more, as we get the Blu-ray, which has already been announced and coming in April.
You can pre-order it now.
It now.
It's awesome. I almost.
So last thing though, real quick, where is it ranked? Does it?
I don't know. I think right now it's at a comfortable 2 for me. Number 2. It might be number 1, but I just don't know. I don't think I can make that.
I'm pretty sure right now it's number 2 for me.
Yeah, I'm at a comfortable 2.
I think Empire is
pretty good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So yeah, I right now I still put I would put it at 2 right now.
Yeah.
So all right. That's our long ass take about it. So hope you were with us the whole time. Again, like we said, we'll talk about this more.
Yeah.
I think real quick too, I think that the whole Tekka thing about possibly being that character possibly being from Rebels, I actually think it's going to be. I think we're going to get Tekka in Rebels.
Yeah.
That's how I think that we're going to get that connection. People talk about, there was a rumor like someone from Rebels is going to be, I think someone now from episode 7 is going to be in Rebels. I think somehow we're going to see Tekka in that.
Church of the Force. They're going to find Church of the Force.
Something like that. Yeah. I think Tekka is going to be in there. Anyway.
Super awesome.
All right. We appreciate it. Inside the Force, Twitter, Facebook, and online at InsideTheForce.com. Get us on there. He's Kryptonian1138.
Goodbye,
on
everybody.
Twitter. I am DCottingham21 on Twitter. Until next week when we get back to the normal thing. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
It's 2016. Look for more video from us, actually. We're going to kind of do some video. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to be doing some more video on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/21network. Go there for the Inside the Force playlist. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did. He's Casey.
See you guys.
I'm Dave Cottingham. May the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.